This is the Rise to Triumph podcast, and my name is Crystal Torres. I am on a mission to discover the key components of success of today's top TV and film industry professionals. If you are interested in becoming a working TV film professional or intrigued by the journey and are looking to surround yourself with the best industry minds, then this, my friends, is for you. Each week, we will have a chance to listen in on conversations that I have with top industry professionals and explore the behind the scenes of what it truly takes to rise to triumph. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rise to Triumph podcast. My name is Crystal Torres. Today, we speak with casting director Yolanda Guillen. But first, if you missed last episode, we spoke with Lieutenant Officer McIntosh, and she talks about film school, specifically her experience at the University of Southern California, USC, and how after graduating, she was able to start working on production for huge, big budget films like Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, and now the newest Transformers. So she's doing huge things. She's going to be a huge DP cinematographer in the future. So definitely keep her name and know that you heard her story here first. So check that out after you listen to Yolanda's story. And she has casted literally commercials, television, film. She's casted for and worked for major networks such as Fox, ABC, huge production companies like Sony, just to name a few. And additionally, she's cast for major advertisers such as Wal-Mart, Chase, Comcast, T-Mobile, and many, many more. So in this episode, Yolanda breaks down the casting process. And that's her point of view as the casting director of what she sees when the actors come to the audition room. Also, her relationships and behind the scenes when she's working with the directors, the writers, and how she got to where she is now. So it's exciting, it's awesome, and I hope you guys enjoy it. All right.
So you cast commercially and theatrically.
Yes.
So what do you find as like the biggest difference from casting theatrical and commercial?
Commercial is more about the product. It's more about looks. It's more about what the specific of the commercial needs.
Yeah.
Theatrical is more about acting. That's when you really see the actors who are prepared, who knows their stuff, go to classes. So it's different. I'm not saying that you don't act on commercial, because you do. Some are very like funny or they need to have timing, but the star is the product, not the actor.
Got it. So it's just about how you, the actor, can enhance the product.
Correct.
Got it. So because a lot of people get, it's like, you go on commercials and you're just like, oh, okay, I got it, call back. So do you think that it's more because they didn't fit that brand that they're looking for? Or could it also be like, I'm specifically right now just for commercials, like, or could it also be that they just didn't do a good job?
It can be both. No, it's true. Sometimes it's all depends. Like lately I've been doing a lot that are comedy.
Okay.
So a lot of the talent doesn't have the timing of the comedy. But sometimes they look too. I mean, if you see, I always tell them, like, if you're going to have an audition for this brand, look at the previous commercials. They already have like a type of casting. They already have the type, the clothes they wear, the timing, everything. So it can be a lot of things. And at the end is the client who decides, the client from the brand. Yeah. So you have to represent the brand. You have like girls, sometimes they go with a lot of makeup. And if you're a young mom, you don't use a lot of makeup. So it can be different things that have somebody not getting the job.
Yeah. Is there like a specific scenario or like example that you can give us, like that an actor did in the room that helped get them that commercial, or that maybe they did that lessened their chances of getting that?
One is like they have to listen to the director. Okay. I mean, if they already call you back, it's because they like something from you.
Okay.
So don't try to change your wardrobe or the way you were the first time, because something that you did the first time they like.
Okay.
So, and some people try to change everything. They think that, because they call them back, they get there and they do totally different than what they were looking for.
Got it.
And they don't listen. So they can lose the job. Mm-hmm. Also, they change their clothes. I don't know why, but
so
they wear the same thing. And people, like, they start asking questions. Sometimes they get nervous and they start like making funny jokes that they think they're funny, but they are not funny. So you got to think in all little details. Production wants somebody they can work and is friendly. I mean, you're going to be hours in the set. So if you start making jokes, sometimes they cannot be as pleasant as you think. So it's better not to be that friendly.
Yeah. So kind of like just going.
Yeah, do your job. Yeah.
And then walk out.
Yeah. And also, I will say that. Like, they change the look, or they're trying to do different. They don't listen to the director. That can get the person out of the job. Sometimes actors, they're like, okay, we're going to call them back because of the look. And when they get there, they listen to the director. They do all this stuff. And then they ended up booking the job. And they didn't come into the callback being one of the favorites, but it happens.
Got it. So there are favorites, like for the callbacks. How does one know if they're a favorite?
I mean, we don't let them know. I mean, they tell me, but I cannot tell the actor.
Yeah.
Because it's more pressure for them too.
Yes.
And it is surprisingly, sometimes when they get there, once you do the callback, things change. Mm-hmm. They might be the favorite from the first audition, but when they get there, they either don't listen to the director or they got nervous and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen people because they wear the wrong shirt, they have lost a job. Mm-hmm. So it can be,
just literally.
Yeah. Especially in the World Cup, when the World Cup was, they started making jokes about different countries and people would get mad.
Get offended.
Yes. So it's funny,
it's better to just keep your mouth
shut. Yeah.
Don't talk.
Yeah.
Unless if they ask you to.
Yeah.
I wanted to know then, theatrically, what is it that, since it is a little bit more different, where you said it's really, I guess there is probably a look to it, but there's also craft, right?
Yes.
So then, can you walk me through, I guess, the initial process of you going through bringing the actors in and then afterward going through the process?
Yes. First is even for us, we have to audition. Casting directors, we do have to audition.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. It's not like commercial that they call you and you got the job. No, for theatrical, they usually see 2 or 3 casting directors. And they send you the script and you need to prepare the script.
Yeah.
So then you go with the producers and sometimes the director, sometimes the director is not as attached yet. So you sit down with the writers. This is for television. Movies is different. But for television, you sit down with them, with the producers, the writers, and then start going by the ideas. And then you start pulling up names, looks. Not necessarily the people that you bring and you tell them is the one that's going to get the job, but it's more about seeing that you're in the same page with them. So after that, it's any actor.
How do they know, just what, I'm based on your previous work or something?
Yes. I mean, I've been lucky enough that a lot have been word to mouth. Okay. They call it oh no, you should hire her. But there's been different TV series that I've been there for 10 meetings. And it's oh, you're too young, or we love your ideas. And sometimes it's any actor. Sometimes it can be a great audition, but somebody else has a bigger name and that person gets the job. It's kind of the same with us. So that's when I understand the actors after this process, because you go there, then you're waiting for your agent
TV
and film. Yeah. And then you're waiting for your agent to call you back. And
so you have an agent?
For theatrical. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they do my deals and all of that. Yeah.
Got it.
So it's...
And then have you, because you said you've had a lot of word of mouth, so have you personally then how as actors, it's we have to go and put ourselves out there and reach out to certain people. So is that what you do? Do you try to pitch yourself or be around certain...
In a way, it's different than actors, because actors have to prove themselves in the room and audition. Yeah. For us, it's a lot of you have to get along with the producers and directors. I mean, you're going to be with them, if it's a pilot, you're with them 10 weeks.
Really?
So it's an every day. Yeah. So in a way, it's also about you get along with the person. Yeah. But more than anything, I'll say that you have to be in the same page of what they're looking for.
Got it.
So, so when they audition you, you get the job, it's amazing. So that's the first process, getting the job, us. And then from there, we put the breakdown, we get all the submissions, and we start going by look, resume, everything. I mean, some people go by agencies. I don't go by agencies. I go by who I know, who I like the resume. This person is right for this. or who, depending also who we talk with the producers. So they come, we have 2 sessions. We have one that is pre-read. I pre-read them, or my associate, we pre-read them. And if we like them, we send them back to producers for a callback. So you go to producers, and then from producers, then you have a studio test. And then the studio, you present your stronger options, and then the studio filter, and whoever are the 2 or 3 options, then we go to network. And then the network. So, and sometimes it's live for the actors. Sometimes we tape them in the studio, and then we present by tape. It all depends. Then every network is different. Every network was different.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a quick question about social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a big aspect in? Because I feel like a lot of actors and freaking out about it.
It is a plus, but what I have learned in television, they want risk talent because your talent is the one that speaks. It's a big, huge plus if you do have it. Don't get me wrong. It's a huge plus, but you won't get a job just because you have 2 million followers. That doesn't mean that honestly, lately I've been meeting like a lot of bloggers or people that have Instagram, Snapchat, and they're over like 500 million viewers all over the world. And they don't know how to act. And they think because they are very famous socially, in the social media world, they think that they're going to come and no, they don't. You still need to be funny. You still need to do the job.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And they won't risk talent for that. Okay. So far, it has been my experience. Though.
Yeah. But it might help you get into the room.
Yes, of course. What do you have? If you have like millions of followers or thousands of followers, you have something special because people want to see you. So we want to see that. But it doesn't translate always to be a good actor. People think it's just by being pretty or by having followers, you can be an actor, and it's more than that to be an actor. Mm-hmm. For me,
yeah, I agree. Can you take us through like a day in the life of like in your shoes of like what is your day to day?
Oh, okay. This is it's kind of. Right now I'm working for a network that I cannot say because it's on disclosure, but I'm being part of like casting director of this network.
Okay.
And I'm also coordinating in my company with commercials. So it's kind of crazy because I wake up and I can have like 2 weeks ago, I was with 3 commercials, this project, and I've been traveling all over the States looking for talent. And it's, for the network.
Wow.
And it's been like, and not just Latinos, everything, African Americans, Caucasians, anybody that is special.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. It's like you wake up with a lot of phone calls. Like you can see Saturday, I'm still with my computers working.
Yeah. So when people are listening to this is Saturday and she's working. Yeah. And you have a family.
Yes, I have 2 kids.
Oh my God.
I have 2 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, 11 and a 4-year-old.
So you're balancing a lot.
Yeah. But it's fun. I like it. It's, it's doable. I love commercials. They're so fast. Yeah. Everybody makes good money.
Yeah.
And it's, yes. And now it's also a lot of directors that do television do commercials or directors that do movies. So that's also for an actor, it's a great exposure when the copy means that it's a lot of acting. Some copies use looks. It's all different. I like advertising.
Yeah.
That's where I began, and that's what bought me my house. So yeah, it's good. And also for actors, it's good to do it.
Because it's just lucrative, yeah.
Yeah, and also it gets, lately I've been getting more of acting commercials. Like it calls for an acting. So it's not just looks. So that's also what the actors can prove themselves to be a good actor.
Got it.
So, yeah.
So they're able to like infuse the theatrical and get the commercial money.
Yeah. So for me, pretty much I wake up. If I have the girls, because I have them 1 week, yes. Okay. 1 week, no. When I have them, I wake up, take them to school. Yeah. And then I go straight to the office. Or sometimes if it's too much work, I can work. I'm lucky enough that I can work from my home sometimes. And I have like 2 computers going on. Sometimes my assistant will come to my house, and I like to be comfortable, especially like when you're looking like up to like 2,000 submissions per role. So it helps.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. So, and then I wanted to ask you, I just mentioned something about, you said when you, like right now you're working for a network and you're going all over the state to look for specific talent. So what would you look, obviously I guess, if they're good actors, actors, but is there something specific, like special, like or that you look for?
I think
how does that process work for you? Like when you're
for me, it works that once an actor walks into the room, you know that person is secure of themselves. It's something, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just they just have it.
So confident.
It's confident, yes. Yeah. Walk into the room, not be nervous. Of course, everybody gets nervous. Yeah. And we all want you to be the answer of what we're looking for. So we're not there to judge you. We're there to help you and try to make you feel comfortable.
And it's funny too, because I feel like you hear that a lot, but still there's always like that, like you're trying to still prove yourself, you know, like in the audition room.
Yeah, because I mean, yes, it's your ticket to success. It's one good audition in theatrical can change your life. That's the reality. So I know it's a lot of mistake that you have, but I believe that you have to think that this is another opportunity. You just go and do it, and that's fine. We put so much pressure into ourselves that it translates on camera. I can see when the person, I don't know if it's because so many years I've been doing this, but it's like, oh, it's the first audition. Oh, it's the second. You can tell just by the way they carry themselves, the way they talk. And there's few people, I'm not going to lie, it's few people that I'm like, oh my God, that person just walking through the room and it's like probably the first, second audition and he has something. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's a sparkle. It's the way they connect. You have to really forget about the world and give it all. Take risks. And people, they go by I don't know. Also, I see this more in Latinos than Caucasian and African Americans. We as Latinos, I would include myself. It's, they always call our friend who booked something to coach us. They don't go to like a real coach. They go to, this person got this movie. She's going to teach me. No. Probably that person went to a coach. Go to somebody that is a coach. Yeah. Does it make sense? No, and you can tell, like when the person is prepared, especially for pilot season, if you're going to go for a series regular, save your money from now until January and go to a coach. Prepare yourself with a good coach. Mm-hmm. Because it tells. I mean, you can tell. It's like,
and how important is it for them to be off book?
Very important. Yeah. Very. For theatrical, you have to be off book. Actually, we'll say also for commercials. Yeah. Now you get the copies the day before. Learn it. Mm-hmm. But don't stick to the copy because commercials do change really fast. But yes, you have to be off book. Okay. Be prepared to risk. Most of the people now that have doing this for years, and I see the people that book more, especially in commercials, they do always something different. So a moment before, a moment after the copy. And some people just stick to the copy. Yeah. So the directors also want to see that you can improve, that you can improvise, that you can do something different.
Yeah, because you probably do it like a few different takes.
Yeah. So
when you're on set, so they want to know that you're not going to just do it.
And in theatrical is good. Always have your sights by your hand in case you need it. But it's so much better. The connection that you have with the person, it translates in camera if you are off book. Yeah. So.
But so let's go back. I want to know, like, how did you get involved with casting? What brought you here? Yeah. We're gonna talk about you and your process.
Okay, now you guys are gonna know my age, but I came here.
She looks good, everyone.
Oh yeah, I came here when I was 1998, to study my university, and I went for radio, television, and film at UCLA.
Where'd you? Oh, UCLA. Nice.
But then I got married.
And you came from?
Mexico. I came from Mexico. And then I got married. Mm-hmm. And when I was about 6, like the last semester to graduate, I got divorced. Okay. So during that time, I did internship with different casting directors. Okay. And I did radio as well. And I did television.
So you always knew you wanted to cast?
No. No. When I wanted to be like executive for a network or do developing or I love, like I said, advertising. So I work on radio a lot during that. Actually, I worked a lot in radio before I got divorced. And by seeing the numbers about Latinos and everything, I was like, they have to tag us. I mean, they have to look for us because we are the consumers, we're this. So one of my teachers said, you have a good eye. Why don't you start going to casting? Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was in Mexico, I have no idea. I come from a very small city. I have no idea. It was like casting directors, nothing. So she's like, go and do it. So I worked with 2 different casting directors commercially that are Latinos. And when I worked with them, I never thought I was going to be a casting director. I was like, I did it for my internship. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I actually had to also audition because in the process, you have to learn every single thing.
So how do you audition?
I had an agent and I did audition and I booked like 4 or 5 commercials.
Oh, wait, so you have to audition like
as an actor. Yes, to learn the process. I mean,
to see how you would do as a casting director?
No, just I was studying radio, television, and film, so it covers everything. I learned. They teach you how to edit, how to do. I mean, every single thing.
Yeah.
And they always encourage us to do. It's like if you're going to have executive position, learn how the actors go through.
Yeah.
How they run all over the city, how they do all of this. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So when I did
just like, let me just
as part of my classes. But then, so after when I was getting divorced, one of my teachers told me, it's like, you have a great eye. You have a great outtake of what you're thinking of the future is going to come for Hollywood and for this. It's like starting commercials, do this. You understand both worlds. And I'm like, okay. And I did it. And a friend of mine started working for a production company. And she's like, you got to meet with them. So I went and met with them. But I thought it was going to be like, okay, 3 months. I went on a Friday, and on a Monday I was starting with T-Mobile. So it was like that, yeah. And
so
they hired me. Yes.
You.
And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a logo or nothing. So that Friday I left there, and 2 other friends helped me like buy the domain, do everything.
You just kind of like
everything.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. Wow. And that was my first job ever.
T-Mobile, was that for
my first
Latino market?
Latino market. It was like my first job ever.
Well, that's a good criticism.
Yeah. And then 2 years later, that was 2006, and 2010, I made NALIP, is the National Association of Latino independent producers, something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. NALIP was doing this every year. They do, and they bring casting directors or executives or things from different places, and they were asking me for like 2 years in a row, and I felt like, oh, you're doing so many commercials, actors want you to come and to be a speaker, and I'm like, me? I am just like, I'm too young and I'm just started. So by the 3rd year, my assistant told me like, yes, you should go. He's like, go, because she's no more than my assistant, she's like my best friend. So she's like, go, Yoli. So I went to the meeting and I got there very late because it was in Laguna Niguel. And when I got there, a person was sitting next to me. Her name is Tess Sanchez, and that's for me who opened the door for theatrical. But when she was sitting next to me and she said Tess Sanchez, she said Fox, I thought it was Fox Latino, never Fox, the network. So we talked, and it was Cameron, the person that used to be her assistant. Now she's a very successful manager, but we were sitting there. And 5 months later, they call me. Like, she started asking me, what would you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I'm like, think that white American market doesn't care about if, like, they have to speak Spanish. They don't even speak Spanish. Yeah, they don't care. If you're going to do a set about the 70s, you make sure that every lamp, everything is according to the 70s. Yes. Why, when you put a Spanish speaker and you say that person is from Mexico, they talk like Puerto Rican or they talk like Venezuelan. And I told her, it's like the other day I was watching and they said, I break the bass into your face. But when they bass in Spanish is florero. And they translate it as vaso, and vaso is glass. So I'm like, they don't care about those little things. And I think for our community, it's unrespectful. And I think that has to change. And we also have a lot of actors that has not been given the opportunity to be lead actors. So we started like talking about all of that. But I never thought she was from the network. Yeah. So when she called me, she just hired me. I went for a meeting and I was like, Fox. So I went to the meeting and they ended up hiring me. Wow. And ever since there, I started doing theatrical. Then pilot, another pilot, then a movie. So it started like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so for me, she was my guardian angel. She's the one that opened the door for me.
So do you think because you opened yourself up to, I guess, like this organization that had other, I guess, like people that were succeeding as well, like that kind of gave you that stepping stone, I guess, to like, open that door so that you can start doing like all these other projects? For me, it was... In that particular case, yes, because that's where I met her. Mm-hmm. But then later, too, is your work. Mm-hmm. Because later, after she hired me for something, and then she hired me, not her, the network and the studio, Sony, that was my first studio that I worked with. Yeah. They hired me for a pilot, and it was more the relationship of our work. Mm-hmm. And I have learned that
They don't hire you because you're the friend. They hire you because you can do the job, especially in production and in all of this behind the scenes. And with actors, it might help that you know somebody to get in the room, but you need to prove yourself there. So that's something that I've been liking a lot. They really go for the talent. Yeah. So that for me excited.
Yeah. No, that's so exciting. Now, how are you? So, can you talk about, because it was interesting that you had this conversation with this lady at Fox, and you talked about like how Latinos. So, how, being a Latina woman myself, and it's just how are we getting more of us behind the scenes and in front of the camera to get bigger projects? Are you starting to see more projects available for Latinos? Or?
Yes, especially this year. This year, I was lucky enough to work for ABC Studios.
Okay.
So, overseeing all the pilots for Latinos. I was hired just for that, like to make sure we see Latinos, we did it, and help the other casting directors. And it was a different job for me because I have always been the one doing the casting.
Yeah.
And this time it was like 10 pilots. Like all of a sudden I was like getting every day like 2 pilots. And then, okay, these roles. Yes, everybody wants to have Latinos and discover Latinos.
Okay.
They have seen that yes, they need to tap into us. But also it's sad, like I was telling you, see that the talent are not prepared. They are not prepared for the level. I'm not saying that everybody.
Yeah, not everyone, but you think that Latinos more than you said, like white. And
yes, I get invited to different classes, to the top-notch schools here. And it's sad to see 40 people and 1 Latino, or 40 people and no Latinos. That's for me sad. And when I talk to them, it's like, no, they don't come. They don't prepare themselves. And you see it. I have seen actors, like 3-4 years ago, there was an actress, and I told her, it's like, go to these classes in a year, continue going for auditions. Don't go yet. Like, go prepare yourself. And she's an amazing actress. She comes from Mexico, but it doesn't translate in English. And if it's not your first language, you don't get the material. So it's a lot of handicaps that you can have. It's me making notes.
Yeah.
So that was for me like the hardest part. Like this, honestly, like this season for this network, it was like really, people is like, oh my God. And they were not prepared. As well as others. So you see somebody else getting there that looks Latina, but is not Latina and is well prepared, then that's why they yes. Ended up getting... Behind the cameras, I also see a lot. I see a lot like people wants to get into the diversity, not just Latinos, also African Americans. We forget that we're a minority, but we need to fight into all the minorities because we are not getting just us something. And I always said this to people, is like, yes, they want to tap into Latinos, but they're not going to lower the level of what they want just to get the Latino. We need to step up to the plate.
So I guess for the Latino actors that listen to this, what are, like you said, these top schools, or what are things that you can tell them right now so that they can be prepared when they do get those opportunities?
One of, for me, the best is, if you can if you like comedy, go to UCB, Second City Improv, Groundlings. Yeah, Leslie Can is an amazing school. And I have seen people improve a lot. And she's one of the top-notch teachers. Yeah. And the networks recognize her. The studios, some casting directors, I'm talking to them, they will see who you go to, where to do classes, and sometimes they don't have a big resume, but knowing that they're going to these schools, they get called in.
Just because they see that on the resume.
Yeah, because they also, you have to audition to get in. It's not like just they accept everybody. So that's something for me amazing. Also, if you have an accent like I do, go to Kelly Ritter, go to somebody that has accent reduction. Yeah. It opens the doors for you. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, yes, it's Sofia Vergara. Yes, we only one Sofia Vergara, and that was the role for. You want to audition for all the roles. Mm-hmm. And most of the roles are born and raised in the States, so you don't have an accent. Yeah. So that's what sometimes it's like fighting with that, or it's like, okay, give me the opportunity because I'm like, I can. Or you call me. Sometimes I get actors saying, oh, you call me for all the commercials, but not theatrical. I'm like, the commercials were in Spanish, it's in English, and it's a different monster. It's a different, so like I did one pilot for like a year and a half ago, and it was called for a Mexican. And the network and studio were like very specific. We want a Mexican.
Yes.
Mexican. Yes. So perfect. It's like, we are hiring you because you know the difference.
Yes.
So I got people from all over. I'm like, do the accent. If you do the accent, of course I call you. And that's the thing. It's like, you don't hear Nicole Kidman talking in the Australian accent. She learned the American accent. So, and that's, I don't care where you're from. You can pull up the accent. Like, you have the opportunity. But it's so respectful. And they're hiring me, which Spanish is my first language, to learn and to know.
Yeah. And obviously, as soon as they open their mouth.
Yes, you know, yeah. And it's like for here, it's like in English, you know who is from the South, who's from the North, who comes from New York, who comes from England, who comes from Australia. It's the same. So I always said, try to be honest, prepare yourself, and don't close your doors. And also know what you're good for.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes people think that because they're not even the look, but no, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go there, and I'm like, no, you're not the look. You waste your time. You waste my time. You waste everybody's time. It doesn't mean that because, yes, it happens that somebody changes their mind when they see you, but it happens once in 1,000. The reality is that when we are looking for something specific, especially in pilot season, we go fast. We have 10 weeks to cast the whole pilot, the whole series regulars. Yeah. So it's bring something to the table. Know yourself. I have people, I respect more actors when they call me and they're like, the headshot that you have was from like 5 years ago. I look different now. I'm sorry, I'm not going to come in. That I appreciate. Really? Yeah, especially people are like, I don't know. We don't want to age. I know, but it's like, go with your age. Does it make sense? Yes. Or people that are like 50 pounds later. I mean, honestly, it's not like what. Honestly, it is like really, it's a waste of time for everybody. Mm-hmm. So that, don't do it. Also know your limits. Some people are not good for comedy, but I mean, they have it in their bones. Yeah. No? I mean, I'll say.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wanted to go into, so you talked about like the behind the scenes. So can we get I want to get more details on what is that relationship with you, and like when you are casting a pilot or when you are working for a network, like what is that relationship with the directors or the showrunners? Like, who are you working the closest with?
For a pilot, with every day with showrunners, with the writers and the director, every day. Those are my callbacks. That's what I go for callbacks. They are my callbacks. With the studio, I love with the network too. Every day we have to report what we do to network.
So what do you report?
I report like master list. I report who do we see, we haven't seen. So everything is like documented. Mm-hmm. So and I report to the studio and the network every single day. Yeah. But I don't see them one-on-one. I see them when we do tests. The test, for you to get to the test, it's a lot of process. Like I say, pre-reads until you get to the test. Yeah. Usually it
would be like
pre-read, callback, that is producer session. Okay. And then you have a studio test. Okay. And then network test. Yeah. Okay. So when a lot of people says, "Oh, it was between me and somebody," and I'm like, "Did you went to studio test, to network test?" No, and I'm like, oh, "Okay." I don't say nothing, but it's like, no, it wasn't between you or somebody.
Got it.
It's to get to a studio test is because they're the top people they want to present, and producer sessions. Yeah, it's a callback. Sometimes we call people like 2 or 3 times for producer sessions, and then they get to work with the director. They get to work with everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a very.
And how much of your opinion in that process is weighted in the whole thing?
Especially, sometimes a lot, but sometimes it's like,
who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, definitely. It depends also who you're working with. Okay. There are some people that like the inside, and I've been very lucky enough that in the projects that I have done is specialize on Latino, so they want to specialize in on Latino, so they do listen to what I have to say. Yeah. And networks, and it's been, it's good. So I've tried to be very responsible when I say, like, if it's between somebody I know and somebody, I try to be like the most logical and straightforward. Mm-hmm. Because at the end, I want somebody that I know to get the job, but also it's my job in the line. Yeah. So you have to be not careless, but it's like, this is who is the best person.
Mm-hmm. How many, I feel like there's a lot more of like requests for self-tapes. Are you taking more self-tapes?
Yes. So for me, it's like, this is the thing. For me, if self-tapes, I have so many hours in the day. I cannot see a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I will watch self-tapes. I like to watch self-tapes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like self-tapes. I let my associate watch it, but I will still watch it. Unless she's like, that person is really, really bad, he doesn't even speak English, then I won't even bother. Yeah. But I filter. And sometimes we argue, like, no argue, but it's like, no, if there's something about that person. And I take risks. I like to take risks. But it's dependent on the network too. Some networks, they won't let you. They will like just go like, this is the look, this is this, that's it. Some networks, they will be like, oh, we're open. You have an idea, fight for it. So it's all depends, really.
So it just depends on...
Depends on the team, on the person that you're doing. Depends if it's comedy or drama, it's totally different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. What are the big differences between comedy and drama?
The timing.
Oh, okay.
The timing. And especially you can tell when somebody, English is not the first language, and they don't know the difference between single camera and multi-camera. So it's all of that. You read it on the self-tape. Self-tapes become hard sometimes because actors think they have to do a lot on the self-tape, like bring a lot of props, do a lot of things. You don't need that. Be you. It's like if you were in the room doing the audition.
Yeah.
Talk to the camera. So you know what I mean? And they, not to the camera straight, but yes, like a little bit off. But you don't, like if it calls for a baby, you're not going to be there with a doll. And people do it.
Yes.
So I want to see you. I don't want to see nothing that distracts me. Mm-hmm. And if everything is going to distract me, then it's not a good self-tape. Yeah. So, yeah.
So for people that might be interested or didn't think that casting was an opportunity that they can do as a job, like what advice or what things would you tell them on like getting started, or like maybe they're trying to get into like bigger budget films? Like what is it that...
For theatrical, you need to start as an assistant and then an associate. You move up. Okay. I mean, I'm not like the typical example because I came through the different process, but the normal process is you go from assistant to associate to a junior casting director to a casting director. Mm-hmm. That's how most of the casting directors, if not all, that's how they started, as an assistant, as an associate, or straight to associate. Yeah, you need to learn the process. If you really want this, go and ask for an opportunity to any casting director that is doing something. Sometimes you can do internships. You can, prove yourself that you can do it and this is good for you. Yeah. People think it's easier, but it's not as easy. You really need to love it. It's a lot of hours into it. It's a lot of self-tape, seeing the same scene like for days. You ended up knowing the lines. So, yeah, and also have the eye and be impartial. Mm-hmm. Like I always tell everybody, it's like in my house, we can have a drink, we can talk, be friends. But in my studio, if you don't give me for the role, I don't care. Mm-hmm. You can be like my worst enemy, but if you are the right for the job, I'm going to call you. So that's the only thing I would say. You want to be part of casting, do it. Commercial is different. Commercial is more knowing talent, knowing the looks, knowing the producers, the directors, the ad agencies. Theatrical, no. Theatrical is another, it's a different world.
I want to know, like, because I was watching like a lot of like Hollywood Reporter interviews where like some of like the directors and that are Latino or Black, and they find themselves like, oh, like they only look at me as like the Latino person. Do you? It seems like you found your niche, but like, do you find yourself like wanting to do more general market, or do you embrace the fact that like I have the Latino market and I want to like capitalize on moving up with casting, for that?
For me, this experience with this network has been amazing because I also believe that it's more in us than just the Latinos. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I love Latinos and I love to be part of, and if I can be a little part and make sure they're Latinos and all of that, that's amazing. But yeah, at the end, I want to be not just categorized because I cast for Latinos.
Yeah.
At the end, I think it's the goal for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, you don't want to be, I got the job because I'm the Latina. You want to get the job because you were the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, for me, I always said to people, and I've been saying this for 5 years.
Yeah.
We need to say we got hired because we're good at it and we happen to be Latinos.
Yeah.
Than we got hired because we are Latinos. That's a big difference for me. Does it make sense?
No, I love that.
So
I love that. I feel like I always try to say that too.
Yeah, that's
like I'm me, but I happen to be Latino, but that's not all of me.
Yeah, that's for me the thing is, and that's I think the responsibility we need to have, because it is I mean, it's a great opportunity for me to be in a network and they let me make decisions and they maybe do things. I think it's a big step for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's like they're trying to look at different perspective, different views. They cherish what I have to say. And I think that's how we're going to start changing everything. By having, like I always say, like, look at Shonda Rhimes, look at Empire. They do have African Americans, so they understand and it feels real. So that's the same thing has to happen for us. And prepare, go to school, graduate, ask for those opportunities, and also have the mentality that you're going to start from the bottom. And that's the best way. At the end of the day, like, I know how to be an assistant. I know how to do everything. So nobody can come to me and say, oh, it took me forever. I'm like, no, I can do it. So, and also when you're the boss in a way, and you can prove the people that are under you that you can do the things and you help them, I think it becomes family. It becomes like, okay, she knows how to, they respect you more.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I don't know if it's cultural, but we think like, oh no, we're going to be the boss and we want to be the boss. We don't go from the beginning. Yeah. And I think you have to go through all. Yeah. Little by little. Yes. It will give you the opportunity. If you're good at what you're doing, trust me, they will give you the opportunity. Yeah. Writers. We need more writers. Yeah, but also if we need to, this is just me thinking, but we need to stop thinking like, oh, I'm going to write because I'm Latino for Latinos. No, we need to write for everybody. It has to be universal. Yeah. I think that once we get that, we're going to be past. We'll see.
I love it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Is there anything that you want to mention or like talk about that maybe...
Just that, like, prepare yourself. Really, look at yourself. People think that the age range is the way they look in person, and it's not the way they look in person. It's the way they look on camera. So your age range, go tape yourself. Now with the cell phones, they have camera. Actually, iPhones make the best self-tapes. They videotape yourself. Look at the looks that you have. Be honest with yourself. Do you have the lead actress, the lead actor look, or do you have the best friend? Sometimes being so cute is also not that good. Yeah. Because there are more specific roles. Being the best friend, having like average look might get you more work. Does that make sense? So like, look at yourself, like treat yourself like a product. Bring something to the table. Do something different. That's what is going to make you special. That's what is going to make you people want you. You know, I always say this because lately I've been hearing like, oh, I'm going to go to this network and I'm going to, networking. We're going to go to this party and we're going to meet. I'm like, you're not going to get the job there. And a lot of people think that. Maybe for me, yes, as producer, as casting, because like I was saying, I don't need to prove myself in the room there. I need to prove it different. But it's like, yeah, you hang around with somebody and you get along, they might want to work with you. Whereas an actor, you still need to prove. So that's something that for me is a misconception. When people say, oh, I got to go because I'm going to meet this, and that. I'm like, how many have they really got a job out of that? Yeah. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Prepare yourself instead of investing that much.
So what are the ways, like, if you feel like, if, you know, someone's listening and they're like, I know that I have what it takes, but I can't get in that room. So what are the ways to get?
First is look at your headshot. Mm-hmm. Which schools are you going to? If you don't have a strong resume, which school are you going to? You are SAG-AFTRA or SAG eligible, do AFI short films. Mm-hmm. Don't go just anywhere to do short films. Do it where it's the best.
Yeah.
Because just by doing, I have this, no. Uh-huh. Go and try to find what is the best. If that's what it takes. Go and try to find a manager, an agent.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are like producing their own content. Are you
I love that.
So you like when you see people like doing their own, like web series and stuff.
I think I think you shouldn't stop creating, and you should also try to be honest. Like I always said, we always think that whatever we do is the best.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us. Honestly, it's hard for us to do it. And I think this is only my experience. I think that sometimes actors, I don't know, because you go through all of the emotions, are more sensitive.
Yeah.
And when we're behind the scenes, we're more like objective or like, no, there's this.
Yeah.
And I think you have to create, yes, so maybe 10 won't work, maybe one will. Yeah, but also be, how you said, strict with your work. You're going to do something, you're going to create, you're going to put the time. Yes, do it with friends. You 100% believe in their talent. If not, sorry, yes, you're my friend and I love you, but this is also for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is hard for us as Latinos to do. That's a cultural.
Yeah.
Honestly. And that's the only thing.
You take it personal. You're like, what?
Yeah, but we shouldn't take it personal. It's our work. At the end of the day, we're all pursuing something. And you help more somebody, sometimes saying no to somebody, in giving the reasons. You can say it with love and care, and you can be rude. But the reality is also, you're creating, you're putting an effort, try to do the best of it. Have somebody, everybody knows somebody that knows something. You probably have a friend that knows the scripts. Read the script, take the notes, don't take it personal. I stopped giving advice like to people because they were taking it so personal. And then somebody else would come and say the same thing. And they were like, oh my God, I shouldn't listen to you. And I'm like, okay, it's true. But I think you guys should do short films, scenes, do it. Yeah, I think it's good. You need to create. You need to be doing something. One might hit, but try to do it the best. I always say, you work with the best and it will pay off. Be loyal to your friends. Because some people, like especially producing, they ask for favors, but when they make it big, they forget of who they were helping. So, I don't know. Prepare. I will say just prepare. Let go. There too. Screw it up. It's fun. Do it. It's perseverance. Perseverance? Yeah. Perseverance. Perseverance in Spanish. So it's more of perseverance. You have to be perseverance. And also I think, we don't have a formula. If not, a lot of people will be famous. Be the right moment with the right person. Yes, I know it's like everybody uses that, but it's true. And sometimes when it's your timing, not everybody's ready for it. And sometimes they need to prepare and then they're ready. Honestly. And I don't believe in a thing like such a bad actor. I believe in people not getting prepared. When people go to school, when they do their job, they do the craft, they let go. You see it on the TV. You see it on the audition. Also, this I have learned in the last 2 years, when actors have problems inside, personal problems, it translates on camera. So part of you, because you are the product, take care of yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, don't be hard to yourself. That will translate in the camera. Yeah. Go to a psychologist. Honestly, it's amazing.
You're your own product. Yes. You have to take care.
Yes, but it's true, and it translates. Yeah. You won't be able to portray it, and I don't do it a lot, but most of the time, like people that I know or that I see and I like how they act, and all of a sudden they're like, "What's going on?" And for more than one actor or actress, I have come outside my room and ask them, "Are you okay? Are you going through problems?" And they always ask me why. I'm like, because you were not here. And they started crying, but it's true. It's part of you. It's part of your tools. Like you go to school, like you read, like you go to the gym. Being good with yourself is a huge part of it. So, that's just me thinking. See, I have a different perspective of the idea of the career, right? That's how I see it.
I love it. I think I have a lot of good stuff. I don't know if there's anything that you want to... I don't know. You can't really speak on any of your projects that you're working on.
No, right now. Yeah.
Yeah. But is there any way where people can follow you or they can...
My Instagram is at YOLIGUILLEN. And And I have a webpage on Facebook for the company for commercials.
Okay.
It's Guillen Casting, Guillen Casting.
Yeah, so it's probably the best place to follow.
Yeah, and Facebook is private. Sorry.
It's okay.
Then I'll be in Miami with SAG after at the end of September giving classes. They use
Very nice. Okay.
They invited me, so I will be there the last weekend of May.
Got it. So you're gonna just like teach
acting techniques. We don't know. We're gonna do also self tapes. They're gonna give me the program, but yeah. So
that's awesome.
It's more theatrical.
So if you're in Miami, gotta look out.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode with Yolanda Guillen. She's just so fascinating, and I was so humble to have that time to speak with her and to share her story and her journey. And I really hope that you guys got some gems out of that conversation. I know that after that conversation, I was like, man, I need to get on my stuff. And so it was very eye-opening and definitely a kick in the butt for me, for sure. So let me know what you felt about that conversation. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, you guys can always hit me up at risetotriumph.com. Subscribe to the email list. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Rise to Triumph. And like I said, let's continue the conversation. Let's continue to learn and grow from each other. And together we will rise to triumph. Peace out, y'all.